So last thing we need to do is now get the voltage into the Arduino and into the H-bridge. So to do that, you can again use a 9-volt battery, or if you want to use the battery pack, you can use that as well. I'm going to use the battery pack purely because we've got it. Why not? AA batteries are everywhere. So I'm going to pretend that I'm going to connect it here, for example, because again, you want to have the battery pack on board. So from here, I take my adapter, okay, with the barrel jack. So the barrel jack's going to be plugged in. Please make sure that when you do this, don't have any batteries in there, because again, the Arduino will turn on straight away. So it's pretty crazy. So with this, it simply is just going to connect together. So you can simply connect that in if you want. It should just clip in nice and easily. And then if you get some more double-sided tape, we can stick this bad boy down. Now, the issue that we have is that we've only got one power supply, but we need to power the Arduino and the H-bridge at the same time. So what we are going to do is, in your pack, you will find that we have got our red and black wire that have got 2 short ends that are stripped off and 2 long ends that are stripped off. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect our red, because this is where we're going to make sure color matters, because we want to make sure positive and negative is correct. So red is always positive and black is always negative. We're going to connect them to our H-bridge. So a little bit difficult because I've stuck it on there, but if I grab a spare one. So I've got my spare one here just to show you. Again, underneath, as I was saying, we've done our motors on either side, and now we've got our 3 screw pins at the front. So if we have a look underneath, let's get that a bit more focused. There we are. So you can see that we've got our ground in the middle, and then the 12 volt is on the outside, and then the 5 volts on the inside. So the plus 12 volt it will take in anything up to 12 volts as an input voltage, and it will output 5 volts if you need to use 5 volts for anything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 12 volts straight bang into this, but we're not going to put actual 12 volts. We're going to put in either the voltage from your 9-volt battery or the 6 volts from your battery pack. So what we need to do is on your H-bridge, we need to run your black, which is negative. Make sure that you grab the short end. So again, when you are comparing the 2 ends, you can see that one is really short, one is really long. Take your short end, and we're going to connect it to the middle of that screw pin. So again, screwdriver, loosen it, take your short end, push it in. Again, this might be a bit tricky. You might have to pull it off the board if that makes it easier. And then we tighten, little pull test, and we're good. All right, next we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to take our red wire. So again, if the end is a bit frizzy, just give it a twist, make it nice and neat. And then we're going to plug it into the one that's on the outside, so away. So again, we've got our pins connected, we've got ground in the middle, and on the outside is our 12 volt input. So we're going to put it on the outside one. So again, little red one, and we're going to connect it in. There we go. Now we've got it tightened, no issues there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the 2 long ends, and we're actually going to connect them to our battery pack holder. So if we take the battery pack off, so the adapter, we're actually going to wrap these around the ends to this. Now, the reason we're doing it around here and not around this is because if this wants to get the batteries in, it's going to instantly turn on. And if you are using a 9-volt battery, you're going to be connected to it, and it's literally going to turn on straight away. We don't want that. We want to be able to turn it on when we want. So what we need to do is, if you have a look, you can see that the black is on the left to the small hole, and the red is on the hexagon shaped hole. So we're going to take our red one. And with the long wire, we're literally just going to wrap it around best that we can. Okay. Again, as long as it touches the outside, it will be okay. Now, if you have a pair of pliers or something like that, feel free to use them as well. But we're going to see how we go. Oop, pops off. So if you find that your wire is not long enough, what you can do, and if you have a pair of pliers handy, and be really gentle with this, because again, we don't want to break anything, is simply grab a hold of one of those edges and just bend it open. So you can see here, I've simply just bent it open just a fraction. And what I can do with that now is I can run my wire in and around. So again, the wire just has to touch it to run power through it. And then we'll just give it a squeeze and clamp it a bit shut. So again, it's got a bit of a tail. So what you can do is if you've got a pair of scissors or if you've got the pliers still, you can simply just cut off the excess. Again, we don't want it to short. So there you go, we just cut off the excess. And you can see there that we've got it hooked up. So we just got to make sure that the red is connected into that. And the black is going to go onto the little hole. So again, we just got to wrap it as best we can. Now, this is a little bit smaller, so it should make it a little bit easier. And there you have it. So we've got our red wire that's bent in there and our black wire wrapped around. So feel free to give it a go however you can. Just one thing to make sure is that these two wires never touch, because the second you put a battery pack in there, if these are touching, you're going to get a short circuit, and that's how we start a fire. So all we have to do now is chuck in some batteries into our battery holder, connect it up, or connect up a 9-volt battery, and this guy is going to be ready to go. So before we do that though, we've got to make sure that we can program to get our robot to work. So we're going to work out which pin controls which wheel to go forward and backwards, make any adjustments that we need to, and then we're going to upload the code to make sure that we've got our Arduino ready to go. So let's get coding.